And welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professor J-Rod. On today's episode, we're going to talk about Network Plus, more questions, talk about Premium Plus, and some other stuff. All right, look who's back. Professor J-Rod is back. Hey guys, sorry. Been a little busy doing some personal stuff, but it's not the end of April, so I got you. So this week, I'm just going to start just throwing them out. I have scripts for 3 podcasts. This is one of them, and I think I owe you another one. So by the end of the week, look out. I'm recording them, editing them, dishing them out fast and furious. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of the week, you have 4 of these, which is pretty fast for Technology Tap. Hope everyone is doing great. When the last time I spoke to you guys. So there's one thing that I want to talk to you before we get to the questions. And that is, I kind of want to do a live Q&A, and we can talk about the CompTIA exams and the strategies. And, maybe we can go over some questions. Maybe if you have questions and you want to know why the answer is this, we can go over it together. I kind of want to do like a Zoom session. If anybody's interested, I mean, I don't want to do it for 1 or 2 people. So I just, at least we have to get at least 10. And I'm willing to do it like a Sunday afternoon, like 5 o'clock. It's early enough here, still early enough in Europe, because I know I got a lot of fans there in England. And still early on the West Coast. So we can do like 5 p.m. on a Sunday if anybody's interested. If you are interested, please email me, professorjrod@gmail.com. If I don't get an email, I'm not going to do it, right? I don't want to do it and then nobody shows up. So I want to do it in May. So we'll do it like on a Sunday, May. And, we get a lot of people together. We can talk about CompTIA. We can talk about what struggles you've been going through, or how you got a job, or how are you trying to find a job and you're having issues, resume writing. We can talk about all that. And that's part of what Technology Tap Premium is all about, is, building the community and getting better and trying to help each other. Because my goal is to get, a lot of people certified, because, for a lot of us, IT is a game changer for us. And it was for me when I first became a tech a long time ago. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be somebody who wants to changing their career. I know what it's like to be someone who is working and going to school. I know what it's like to be someone older, changing your career. I know what that is all about. I know how that is. So if I could help anyone or everyone, that I'm into that. So email me, professorjrod.com, if this is something that you're interested in. I'll be more than happy to do it on a Sunday. But you got to email me. If you don't email me, I'm not doing it. But it's something that I really, really want to do. All right, let's take a look at the questions. We're going to do Network Plus today. And then we're going to do security and cloud in the next couple of days. So, and then I don't know what we'll do next. Maybe we'll do, I don't know, maybe 1102. Maybe we'll talk about the CYSA Plus. Maybe we'll start incorporating that in. Let me know if you're interested in that. I know a new exam is coming out, and I took the exam last year, so I don't know. Thinking about taking Pen Plus, but I don't know if I have time to study for it. I have uh, doing my doctorate, so I gotta get that. The struggle is real, ladies and gentlemen. The struggle is real. All right, question number one, and you can follow along at Professor J Rod at professorjrod.com. I'll put the link for this particular one in the show notes. All you got to do is click on it, and it'll take you to the website, and you can follow along. All right, first question. A technician is configuring a network switch to be used in a publicly accessible location. Which of the following should a technician configure on the switch to prevent unintended consequences? A. DHCP snooping. B. Geofencing. C. Port security. Or D. Secure SNMP. I'll say it again. A technician is configuring a network switch to be used in a publicly accessible location. Which of the following should the technician configure on the switch to prevent unintended connections? A. DHCP snooping. B. Geofencing. C. Port security. Or D. Secure SNMP. I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about it. All right. And the answer is, say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, port C. I'm sorry, answer C, port security. Of course, why the keyword there is switch. So port security is the key to this question, right? It's C because the switch is accessible to the public, and you don't just want somebody coming in there and plugging in to the ports that are open. So you basically want to disable those ports that you don't have anything plugged in. So the answer is C, port security. All right, next. Network administrator is required to ensure that auditors have read-only access to the system log, while systems administrator have read and write access to system logs, and operators have no access to system logs. The network administrator has configured security groups for each of these functional categories. Which of the following security capabilities will allow the network administrator to maintain these permissions with the least administrative effort? A. Mandatory access control. B. User-based permission. C. Role-based access. And D. Least privilege. I'm going to read it again. It's a long one. A network administrator is required to ensure that auditors have read-only access to the system logs, while systems administrator have read and write access to the system logs, and operators have no access to the system log. The network administrators has configured security groups for each of these functional categories. Which of the following security capabilities would allow the network administrator to maintain these permissions with the least administrative effort? A. Mandatory access control. B. User-based permission. C. Role-based access. And D. Least privilege. Take a couple of seconds. And the answer is, of course, to do the least administrative effort, it is role-based access. You base their rights based on their roles of their job. Mandatory access control relies on central authority to assign security labels to objects and subjects. It is useful for highly sensitive systems, and they require more administrative effort. User-based assigns permissions to individual users, and it can be more complex and more of an administrative effort to maintain. And least privilege is a security principle that limits users to the minimum sets to the minimum sets of rights, right? Least privilege, they only need rights to do their job, nothing more, nothing less. All right, number 3, users attending security training at work are advised not to use single words as passwords for corporate applications. Which of the following does this best protect against? A. On the path attack. B. Brute force attack. C. Dictionary attack. D. Mac spoofing. Or E. Denial of service. Users attending security training at work are advised not to use single words as passwords for corporate applications. Which of the following does this best protect against? A. On the path attack. B. Brute force attack. C. Dictionary attack. D. Mac spoofing. Or E. Denial of service. All right. The answer is a dictionary attack. Right. The advice is not to use single words as passwords for your apps. It's primarily aimed at protecting against a dictionary attack, which is a type of cyber attack that involves an attacker using a list of words or commonly used passwords to try and gain unauthorized access to the system. So we don't want that. All right, very good. Hopefully, so far you're 3 for 3. Right, and here is question number 4. A network administrator wants to analyze attacks directly towards the company's network. Which of the following must the network administrator implement to assist in this goal? A. Honeypot. B. Network segmentation. C. Antivirus. D. A screen subnet. I'll read it again. A network administrator wants to analyze attacks directed towards the company's network. Which of the following must the network administrator implement to assist in this goal? Well, what he has to do, what's the key word here? Say he wants to analyze attacks, right? So he wants to be able to take attacks that are done and analyze it. Well, what out of these 4, which one would work? And the answer is A, honeypot, which is a decoy system designed to lure attackers into interacting with it and reveal their attack methods, tools, and objectives. So if you implement honeypot, you can assist in analyzing your attacks directly towards the company. So that's the answer is A, honeypot. Very good. Next question. A network engineer configured new firewalls with the correct configuration to be deployed to each remote branch. Unneeded services were disabled and all firewall rules were applied successfully. Which of the following should the network engineer perform next to ensure all the firewalls are hardened successfully? A. Ensure an implicit permission rule is enabled. B. Configure the log settings of the firewall to the central syslog server. C. Update the firewall with current firmware and software. And D. Use the same complex password on all firewalls. Read it again. A network engineer configured new firewalls with the correct configuration to be deployed to each remote branch. Unneeded services were disabled and all firewall rules were applied successfully. Which of the following should the network engineer perform next to ensure all firewalls are hardened successfully? A. Ensure an implicit permit rule is enabled. B. Configure the log settings of the firewalls to the central syslog server. C. Update the firewalls with the current firmware and software. And D. Use the same complex password on all firewalls. Now, this was a little tricky. I knew the answer up front, but usually I like to double check to see what other people are saying. And there was a fight among what the answers is. But let's take a look at which ones we can eliminate right away. Usually when a question is a little bit difficult, one of the things I like to do is eliminate the ones that should not be there and then reread the question, see exactly what they're looking for you to do. So A, ensure implicit permit rules enabled. Well, it says in the question that all firewall rules were applied, so that you could take that out. So you left with B, C, and D. D is use the same complex passwords on all firewalls. Well, you don't want to use the same password for anything, so that's out. So you really left with B and C. Configure the log settings on the firewall to the central syslog server, or update the firewalls with current firmware and software. Right? So I took a look at it, and there's a couple of things that I see here. First, they want to use the word harden successfully, and usually when you see harden in anything, it you know if you say you want to harden your OS, what are they asking you? Make sure that you update. You want to harden your phone, make sure all the updates are done. And he also says uh, that these were new, right? Configure new firewalls. Again, just because they're new, right, doesn't mean that it's new for you. But how long has it been sitting where you bought it from, right? What if it's been sitting there 6 months? So you bought it new, may not have up to date firmware on it, right? I'll give you an example. I bought a router, this was years ago, a wireless router for my house. And when I looked into the security, it didn't have WPA2 on it, right? It was new. I just bought it from Best Buy, but it didn't have WPA2 on it. So I had to update the firmware, right? And once I updated the firmware, it had WPA2. So I'm going to go with C. Update the firewalls with the current firmware and software. Because again, just because this is new, right? It's new in the office, but how long has it been from when it left the manufacturer to it got to you to the store and then you bought it, from whenever you bought it from, right? That could be months. And in that time, there was a new update. So, all right, last one. A technician is connecting multiple switches to create a large network for two new offices. The switches are unmanaged layer 2 switches with multiple connections between each pair. The network is experiencing an extreme amount of latency. Which of the following is most likely occurring? A. Internet collisions. B. A DDoS attack. C. A broadcast storm. Or D. Routing loops. Again, I'll read it again. A technician is connecting multiple switches to create a large network for a new office. The switches are unmanaged layer 2 switches with multiple connections between each pair. The network is experiencing an extreme amount of latency. Which of the following is most likely occurring? A. Ethernet collisions. B. DDoS attack. C. Broadcast storm. And D. Routing loops. Well, which one could we eliminate? Routing loops. Get rid of that, right? So you're left with Ethernet collisions, a DDoS attack, and a broadcast storm. It says the network is experiencing an extreme amount of latency. And latency is what, guys? Delay. Delay. Remember what I tell you? Learning this computer business is like learning a whole new language. You're going to see words that you've probably never seen before. But it's good because it opens up your vocabulary, which is a good thing. All right, so you got these three, right? And the answer is, well, the keyword is what? I think the keyword here is switches. There's switches, right? You're working with switches, right? So even that you could probably knock out DDoS attack, right? Because the DDoS is really at the router level. So you lightweight Ethernet collisions and broadcast storm, and the answer is broadcast storm, right? Broadcast storm traffic that is recirculated and amplified by loops in a switching topology, causing network slowdowns and crashing switches. So that is the answer. All right, we did, ladies and gentlemen, we were able to do 6 questions. Hopefully, you got all 6 right. Who got all 6 right? If you got all 6 right, give yourself a hand. If you got 5 out of 6, you did very well. 4 out of 6 is pretty good. And anything less than that, we have to go back and hit the books and see what we're doing wrong. And that's part of what I'm trying to do with Technology Tap Premium. I'm going to move back the date of when I'm giving out the voucher. I was going to give it June 1st. I'll change it to June 15th. We'll do it June 15th. Just to give people an opportunity to sign up again for Technology Tap. Again, if you don't know what that is, it's a premium. Technology Tap Premium is the premium services that I offer. We will get together off the podcast platform. We'll do Zoom sessions together. We'll talk about what's going on with you, if you're trying to switch, what difficulty you be happening, resume building, how to get a job, any issues that you're having with CompTIA exam, right? It's only $5 a month for Technology Tap Premium if you want to be a subscriber. If you're a subscriber for 3 months, on June 15th, I will give away a voucher for any exam that you want. Just one voucher, and then I'll do another one in August and another one in November. Right? We try to give away 3 of them just for this is a thank you from me for being a listener. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, if you want to do so, I kind of want to do a preview and see if you guys will like it. Sometime in May on a Sunday, we're looking at about 5 p.m. on a Sunday, where we can talk about anything you want about CompTIA, about IT, about, you want to learn more about my background, you want to learn how to get a job in IT, resumes, how to beat these CompTIA exams so that we can talk about it. It'll be free. Email me at professorjrod@gmail.com. If you're interested, I kind of want to do it if 10 people, email me and tell me, hey, this is something that I want to do. It's free. It's going to be free. So just let me know if you want to do it. And yeah, we'll do it. I'll send out a Zoom link on the website, on the podcast. And then, you can, on that day, we'll all log in and talk to each other and see what's up and see what we can learn and see if we can build this community that I'm trying to build to get us to all be CompTIA certified. So we got a bunch of CompTIA people running around. So that'll be a great idea. So come and join me if you want. All right, that's going to be all for today. Thank you very much. And don't forget to subscribe to Technology Tap Premium. Email me at professorjrod@gmail.com. Also on Instagram at professorjrod. This has been Little Chacha Productions, music by Joe Combe, art by Sarah. Until next time.